people don't know what they're missing, just throw it away because people will never know it existed. You're the only one who feels that pain. Hey guys, welcome to Wedio Academy. My name is Eypee Kaamiño and today I'll be talking about how to produce a short documentary. I will be talking about some challenges I've faced, how to overcome them, some tips and tricks, and how to focus on what really is important. I hope you'll enjoy it and learn something valuable. Nowadays, you might see a lot of short documentaries on social media that are super fast. They only take like 1 minute. Some short documentaries on YouTube can take between 3 and 5 minutes. On film festivals, you will see some short documentaries that take up to 10 minutes. But to be honest, like my personal opinion, a good documentary is not set by the duration of the documentary. If the story is good, you can tell a really good story in a very short amount of time, or if the story allows for it, you can also tell it in 10 minutes and it still feels very interesting and not that long. It always depends on the editing, the content of the short documentary, or just like the general feel of the pacing. If something feels long or extended or feels very compressed and short. So at the end of the day, don't focus on the duration of the documentary because that really isn't the important thing. It's the content of the documentary that captivates people. I'm sure you've heard it before, but I must say it again. Story is key. That means if you found a person who has a very strong story and you want to tell it, you can already do a very good documentary out of it without having a lot of budget or the necessary filmmaking skills. So in the pre-production phase, do you even need to write a script for the short documentary? The documentaries I shot are usually stories that already exist. That's why there was never really a script required. Nevertheless, that doesn't mean that you can just lay back and relax. Stay focused, listen to your talent, and you will learn a lot of things. And if you listen to the talent, you learn new things, and then maybe you find a new focus in a storyline, new B-roll that you can focus on. And it's always the change in the course of events that make a documentary super interesting. First of all, we have the preparation. For the preparation, you set up a shooting schedule with everyone involved. You set together your team, you prepare your film gear, you organize transportation and accommodation, and make sure you scout the location where you want to shoot. Make sure to communicate with your talent, who is going to be the main subject of your short documentary, and let him or her know what your intentions are by filming this documentary. And then we have the shoot. On the shooting day, make sure to do a location scout. First thing you want to do is to find a good location for the interview. The main interview is going to be your main audio, and it's going to be the most important piece of content for this documentary. So make sure the talent is mic'd up properly because this phase of the shoot is going to be the foundation of your story. The interview part is usually referred to as A-roll. For the A-roll, you can just focus on what the talent is saying, cut your story together, and that will define your main storyline. I'm also sure a lot of you have heard the term B-roll. B-roll are shots that you edit on top of your A-roll to support what's being said. A very interesting tip that I can give you right now is while you're shooting the A-roll, listen carefully to what the person says and make notes of what the topics are, because it's very important to cover those topics up with some B-roll footage. And I can say out of experience, you can never ever get enough B-roll. So during the shoot, make sure to get as much B-roll as possible. Also, make sure to use controlled lighting as the sun can move during an interview. And finally, we have the post-production, aka editing. For editing, it really depends on your style. Some people might start off with a very strong, eye-catching opener, and other people might start off slow so they can build up and create tension. And at the end of the day, editing is really just something creative that everyone does differently. Ultimately, there are different techniques to telling a story. And it always depends what the content and what the story is all about. A story can be sad and tragic, but also full of adrenaline and happiness. So while editing, the choice of music, the pacing of the edits, the sound effects being used, there are really no rules and boundaries in the creativeness of how to edit. The edit is therefore quite subjective and everything is allowed. Your goal while editing should always be to keep the audience interested. Another very important thing that I have to mention is make sure to use royalty-free music and sound effects so you will not run into any complications later on in the future. Finally, when your short documentary is done, make sure to show it to your talent. Make sure the person is happy for it to be distributed. So why do we produce short documentaries in the first place? Let's talk about distribution. What's in it for the talent? The talent, for example, can use the documentary for promoting a brand or promoting a product, making sure the location where this is shot is being promoted. Even though you focus on the character and the subject, everything around that subject is indirect marketing. Let's take my film Coralie, for example. She's talking about her lifestyle, but everything around her is the awesome, really nice vacation destination Seychelles. So even though the focus of the main story is on her character and her life, the whole island of Seychelles is being promoted as a tourist destination, as well as her own business for beauty products. What does this mean? A short documentary can be a marketing tool for the talent. It can also be a super creative piece of artwork for you as a filmmaker. Instead of telling you which gear is best for a short documentary, I always suggest to users to use the gear they're most comfortable with. The best gear is the gear you have the best control over to tell the story the way you want. Thanks for watching. You can check out my work on my website, eypee.com, or on Instagram, Eypee Kaamiño.